Hello and welcome to another episode of the PT Special. This is with respect to economy. Let's begin with the first topic, that is PM Gati Shakti scheme. What is it? Government of India launched this scheme and this is a very ambitious scheme. It is also known as the National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity Plan. Okay, so PM Gati Shakti is of course synonymous with National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity Plan. The aim is to coordinate planning and execution of infrastructure projects in order to bring down the cost as well as the uncomfortable scenarios that is faced by the general public. I'm talking about if you are witnessing certain construction with respect to laying down of telecom lines, after that the roads will be dug again to put another something infrastructure, some infrastructure related to some other organization, again it will be dug out to lay down the sewer pipes. So this causes a lot of logistic issues, lot of costs, lot of issues with respect to uncomfortability of the citizens. So with respect to that only, this coordination plan has come to the fore. It will increase the cargo capacity. Also, if we talk about the other feature, it will reduce the turnaround time at ports to boost trade. It will ensure integrated planning and implementation of infrastructure projects for the next 4 years. Remember that. The timeline is important. Whenever there is a factual time, you have to remember that. Focus on expediting work on the ground, saving costs and creating many jobs as well, because skill is also skilled and unskilled, both kind of jobs will be created. Now this will subsume the national infrastructure pipeline. Remember that. National infrastructure pipeline will be subsumed by this particular plan, which was launched only in the year 2019. The aim is to have 11 industrial corridors and 2 new defense corridors. So efficiency is also going to increase. Whenever we are talking about defense, efficiency is the first thing that we have to keep in mind. It will extend 4G connectivity to all villages and villages which are not having a lot of digital penetration. Adding 17,000 kilometers to the gas pipeline network is being planned, and the ambitious target is set for the years 2024-2025. By the year 2024-2025, remember this as well. Expanding the length of national highway to 2 lakh kilometers. So numbers are important. Remember that. Features are very important. It could be asked, what are the features of the PM Gati Shakti plan? Then features are given. One could be correct, one could be incorrect, like that. Okay. Creation of more than 200 new airports, heliports and water aerodromes are also included. This can escape our mind, but you have to remember that it is also included. It intends to bring together 16 infrastructure related ministries so that they can coordinate. And expected outcomes is first mapping the existing and proposed connectivity project along with a holistic and integrated transport connectivity. Also, the strategy will greatly support Make in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat, and it will help India become the business capital of the world, because any country, any institute wants to invest where there is efficiency, seamless and smooth infrastructure provision. So all that will be taken care of. Let's look at our question. With reference to the National Investment and Infrastructure Fund, which of the following statement is correct? It's an organ of Niti Aayog. It has a corpus of 400,000 crore at present. Now here both are incorrect. That is why D is the correct answer. I hope you know what is the correct answer. 4-level structure for urban cooperative banks has come to the fore, and RBI has appointed a committee that had suggested a 4-tier infrastructure for the urban cooperative banks. The RBI revised what? The supervisory action framework for UCBs. Remember that. Okay. And tier 1 will have the UCBs or urban cooperative banks which have deposits up to rupees 100 crore. Remember this very well. This could be asked very clearly and straightforward. Tier 2 will have UCBs of deposit between 100 crore to 1000 crore. Tier 3, UCBs of deposit between 1000 to 10,000, and Tier 4, UCBs of deposit more than 10,000 crore. So this can be a tricky question. Tier 1 could be asked as UCBs of deposit more than 10,000 crore. No. Tier 1 is the lowest one with respect to deposits. Remember that. Then let's talk about the features. The minimum capital to risk weighted asset ratio for them could vary from 9% to 15%. So whenever a bank has given loans to somebody, that is basically an asset. Okay. And whenever the banks take deposit, that is a liability. So the difference, the less the difference will be there between assets and liabilities, the more will be the chances of the bank having less chances of going bankrupt or having no amount of money. So the particular liability, if it is weighted against what assets the bank has right now, if the bad debts, the liability turns into bad debts, then the bank will have at least some amount in its hand to prove that they are okay, they can give the money back to the depositors. For tier 4 UCBs, the Basel III prescribed norms will be there, not for tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, for tier 4. Remember that as well, Basel III norms. An umbrella organization will be formed to oversee the coordinator, to coordinate and cooperate with the cooperative banks. They should be allowed to open branches if they meet all the regulatory requirements. So UCBs can also take out branches, and if they have be getting their requirements on track, then only. Okay, the cooperative banks are broadly classified into urban and rural, and where they are operating, this is the basis of this bifurcation. Okay, rural and urban. Registered under the Cooperative Societies Act of the state concerned or Multi-State Cooperatives Act of 2002, the cooperative banks are governed by these specific acts. Remember, it could be asked that the cooperative banks are governed by the Banking Laws Act 1955 only, or the RBI Act of 1949 only. No, they are regulated by both these. Okay, Banking Regulation and Banking Laws Act of 1955. Let's now look at our question. Basel III Accord, or simply Basel III, often seen in the news, seeks to develop national strategies for the conservation and sustainable use of biological diversity. No. Improve banking sector's ability to deal with financial and economic stress and improve risk management is the correct answer. Moving on, let's talk about SAMBHAV awareness program for MSMEs. Now, e-national level, that means electronic national level program SAMBHAV 2021 has been launched by the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. So program SAMBHAV is related to MSMEs, and it's a mass outreach program. That means it will reach out to the masses, and the students from different colleges and ITIs will be encouraged to take up entrepreneurship. Okay, who? The different college students and ITIs. Students will be made aware of various schemes that are being implemented by the Ministry of MSMEs, and then they will choose what kind of entrepreneurship they would like to handle. The objective is to promote the engagement of the youth in promoting entrepreneurship, because India wants to become Atmanirbhar Bharat. We have to encourage the youth of the country to get into entrepreneurship. Boost domestic manufacturing with a view to push economic growth. That means we have to be self-dependent. We do not have to depend on any other country with respect to manufacturing. Now let's talk about stable coins. The US is discussing launching a formal review. There should be a formal review of whether Tether and other stable coins threaten financial stability. See, these kind of cryptocurrencies, they are not backed by certain asset, any asset. That makes them very susceptible to losing interest and faith by the public. That is why stability is a big question with respect to cryptocurrency. And let's talk about stablecoin. It is a type of cryptocurrency. Features are important. Typically pegged to the existing government-backed currency. Now that is the reason it is being called stablecoin. It is pegged to the government-backed currency. And first stablecoin was created only in the year 2014. It was Tether, and they hold a bundle of asset in reserve, usually short-term securities. Okay, better than Bitcoin. They form a bridge between the old world money and the new world crypto, and they promise to function like perfectly safe holdings like repository. Okay, stable coins do not fluctuate much as they are pegged to the government-backed security, government-backed currency. First, that it will provide contract stability to both the parties so that faith can be kept in stable coins. It will ensure that more secure contracts are enforced by the blockchain. If this formula works, then it will be amazing for blockchain technology in cryptocurrencies. Moving on, let's talk about ESG funds, that is environment, social and government. E for environment, S for social, G for government. And the asset size of ESG funds has grown nearly 5 times. How much times? 5 times to INR. This is not important, and this is because of, let's see what, overwhelming demand and growth for ESG funds. Why? See, E for environment, S for social, G for governance. It's not just the profit now that the company drives by. It also what the company is giving back to the environment, the society. That is why because of this we can see the growth we can see that people are now interested in the environmental aspects and the societal aspects of the business as well. Okay, and overwhelming demand and growth for ESG has been recorded, 32%. That too in what? Asia, in Asia. Okay, let's talk about ESG fund. It is a kind of mutual fund. So if it is asked what kind of a fund it is, you have to answer it's a mutual fund. Okay, it is sustainable investing or socially responsible investing. That is why ESG, sustainable for environment, socially responsible for society. And the key difference between ESG funds and other funds is the conscience. That means conscience, what my moral or my moral construct says about me as a business, if I'm just here to make profit or give back to the society and the environment. Shortlist companies that score high on the environment, social responsibility and corporate governance. They are regulated by Securities and Exchange Board of India. Who regulates them? SEBI. Remember that as well. Okay. And the significance is that companies will be forced, because of this instance, the companies will be forced to better their governance, be more environmentally sustainable and be more giving or returning to the society. Greenwashing is top concern among global institutional investors. This is deceiving the customers in believing that the company's products are environmentally friendly, but they are not. So this thing is known as greenwashing. Okay, remember that. Let's now talk about spin scheme of KVIC, Khadi Village and Industries Commission. This has been launched by the KVIC, the spin scheme, and KVIC is a statutory body. Remember that. SPIN stands for Strengthening the Potential of India. Remember this, it could be asked in the prelims examination. It is aimed to make the potters spin. Remember that. How does the potter make its vases and pots? It's with respect to the spinning wheel, and that is why it is known as spin. Remember that. Okay. Self-sustainable. It is a statutory body that I have already told you under the KVIC Act of 1956. KVIC will facilitate potters to get easy loans from banks, and sustainable development has to be there by creating self-employment, Atmanirbhar Bharat once again. Aligned with the Prime Minister's commitment of job to every hand. Har haath mein kaam, that means not sitting idle. We cannot say with respect to building an industry and developing it and also sustaining it, we cannot say, okay, my industry is going down south, I cannot do anything about it. So in order to make sure that the artisans of our country do not get ill impacted by the economic development of the machinery that we are seeing right now, that is why this scheme has been launched. The features, it's a non-subsidy program, subsidy won't be provided, but potters will get bank loans under the Pradhan Mantri Shishu Mudra Yojana. Very important fact. State question could be asked from this. Remember, no financial burden will be there on the exchequer because subsidy is not given. Repayment of loans will be done in easy installments, and it will reduce the dependence on government subsidy. So if it is asked in the prelims that it is a subsidy program, it will what are the ill impacts of spin scheme? It will create a huge burden on the government exchequer. No, because it's a loan program. The artisan are finally going to pay the loan. The potters will pay the loan easily. That is because they are under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Shishu Mudra Yojana. Let's talk about Startup Investment Festival 2022. This was organized by the Northeastern Development Finance Corporation Limited. Tricky question, remember that. Okay, and it will provide a platform for local entrepreneurs to showcase their business idea. Who has launched this or who organized this? Northeastern Development Finance Corporation Limited. Okay, to boost startup ecosystem in the region. Remember that as well. Startup Investment Festival, it aims to reach out to startups and first generation entrepreneurs. It helps entrepreneurs to pitch for investment, high access to capital for scaling up the business. Okay, and avail other facilities like hand holding support, advisor network, investor network, marketing support. So basically everybody comes under one roof to make the business more efficient. Northeast Venture Fund is a dedicated venture fund for which region? Northeast region, of course, and it was launched in the year 2017. Date could be asked in prelims, you have to remember. The corpus was ₹100 crore and it is promoted by NEDFI. Okay. Also, it is registered with the SEBI, not RBI, not company and under Companies Act, nothing, SEBI. Okay. Moving on, 36 proposals have been given, and this is not very important, but just know the magnitude of it and which sectors are impacted. healthcare, edutech, agri and agri-allied, tourism, food processing, IT and ITES. Okay, let's talk about green and digital tourism. First point is the government has prepared the draft national tourism policy. It has been prepared and the focus will be on green and digital tourism, provision for granting industry status to these sectors and infrastructure status to hotels. With respect to hotels, this is. And 5 key areas would be significantly focused on in the next how many years? Again, number is here, 10 years. Green tourism, that means whatever tourism is there is sustainable with respect to the environment. Digital tourism, because digital industry is expanding a lot and it is making much efficient use of the entire ecosystem that we have right now. Destination management, skilling the hospitality sector, supporting tourism related MSMEs, and as per the World Travel and Tourism Council's report of 2019, contribution of travel and tourism to GDP was 6.8%. Wow. India ranked 10th among 185 countries in terms of travel and tourism total contribution to GDP 2019 as of 2019. Remember this very important point and this as well. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the 2020. The Indian tourism sector accounted for approximately 8% of the total employment in the country. Huge employment capabilities in this sector. And by 2029, the expected account of this will be 53 million jobs. Huge. So I hope you understood and grasped a lot today. Next time we shall meet again with more information. Thank you so much for watching.